distracted. I'm going to show you a couple of things that I've found useful over the course of my years as a learner. So the first thing I want to do is ask you what you do to study. So how many of you, when you're studying, set a timer? Does anybody set a timer when they study?
No.
No. And so it's really easy because you have like your phone and you have your iPad and you have other things. And setting a timer, that might seem lame, but think about it. If you set a timer and you said to yourself, I'm going to work for no more than 2 hours today, but I'm going to really work hard for 2 hours. That's a long time, 2 hours, I think. I mean, that's the time for a whole movie, you know? 2 hours is a long time. So you'd want to actually break that up into smaller and smaller pieces. So this would have helped me a long time ago if I'd had it. And what you do is you get a timer and you decide what work you need to do. And we're going to talk about how you know what work you need to do in a minute. But then you set that timer and you set the timer for 25 minutes, which is no big deal. 25 minutes might seem like a long time, but there's a payoff in a minute. You work hard for 25 minutes. You don't stop to answer the phone. You don't stop to answer a text. You don't play video games. You might be listening to music, but you're working hard for 25 minutes. And then after 25 minutes, the timer is going to ring. So you set a timer for 25 minutes. And then you take a 5-minute break to do whatever the heck you want to do. Okay, so you set another timer for 5 minutes. And during that 5 minutes, those are your 5 minutes. You're not working. You're taking a 5-minute vacation from your work. And then you do it again. And then the second time you do it, you take another 5-minute break. But the third time you do it, you take a 10 or a 15-minute break. And what that does is that helps your mind compartmentalize. And sooner or later, as you start using it, you don't even need the timer because you'll know you've been working about 20 or 25 minutes and you'll get used to it. So there's all kinds of timers you can get out there that help you that are already preset for that 20-minute, 5-minute break. And I wanted to share those with you too. So what I did, I wanted to show you why it's called a Pomodoro. This is a Pomodoro in Italian. It's called a tomato. And many of you have these kitchen timers. The one that this Italian grad student had looked like a tomato. So he called it the Pomodoro technique. We would call it the tomato technique. And every one of those blocks of time is called a Pomodoro or a tomato. And so how do you find these timers? Well, I'll show you. There's a bunch of them out there. And what I did, and I'm going to share another tab with you now. This is a website that has it all built in. This is just called PomoFocus. But there's hundreds of these out there. You can download Pomodoro timers. If you go to Apple Store or if you go to the Google Play Store, you can download them on your phone. And basically, they're set out for a Pomodoro, which is 25 minutes of studying, and then a short break of 5 minutes, and then a long break of 15 minutes. Those are the sweet breaks. And so you basically work for 25, take a break. Work for 25, then you take a break. Work for 25, and then you take a long break for 15. And by the time you're done, you wouldn't believe how much homework you can get done in little compressed, compartmentalized units of time. And the key to making this work is you don't interrupt, you don't stop, you don't allow yourself to be distracted. And if you do happen to be a person who suffers from distraction, that's going to be a really helpful thing for you. So I would advise you all to start thinking about studying as something you can time. Studying is something, it's one of those things we say to you, go home and study, go home and study. And then we never teach you how to study. How many of you had a class on how to study? Any of you? I think schools should actually teach study skills. I think you should have a class that does nothing but teach you study skills. And what these are life hacks. These are life hacks. So you want to hack your life. And what does that mean? It means you want to break into your life and make it faster, better, and stronger by doing little tricks. And one of the little tricks, probably the most powerful trick I could give you, is managing your time. And you're going to be bad at it because everyone is. What you have to do is use a timer, use a clock. And so find a way to take command of time rather than letting time take command of you. That's important to do. It's very hard if you're a person who daydreams a lot. I'm one of those people. I can go off and let my mind. I always see an airplane outside the window. I just want to stop and look at the airplane, you know. And in the next minute, I've lost 5 minutes looking at that airplane. It's beautiful, but I've wasted my time. And so once that Pomodoro timer is going, my focus is on the job that I set for myself.